Buckingham Palace was silent, but the tension inside was louder than thunder. King Charles leaned forward, eyes fixed on Queen Camilla. Prince William stood beside him, calm but firm. "This is our final warning," Charles said. The Queen Consort stared back, unflinching. But no one expected what she would do next. Especially not after William made the boldest move of his royal career, bringing Princess Beatrice into the spotlight. She wasn't even a working royal, so why now? And what did Camilla do to spark a firestorm across the monarchy? You won't believe how this family feud nearly fractured the royal foundation. For years, Princess Beatrice lived in the shadow of the working royals. While her father, Prince Andrew, fell from grace, Beatrice quietly kept her head down, working in finance, raising her child, and attending royal events only when invited. She was royal by blood but not by duty. Meanwhile, Camilla had slowly cemented herself as the Queen Consort, not just in title but in power. She built her own inner circle, grew her public image and made it known. Her loyalty was to her side of the family. And that's where the trouble began. Because Beatrice wasn't in that circle. The tension began to simmer during a high-profile royal charity gala. All working royals were expected to attend, but to everyone's surprise, Princess Beatrice walked the red carpet. Not as a guest, but standing proudly next to Prince William. She gave a short speech, represented the crown, wore the royal sash. Cameras flashed. Social media exploded. What was going on? Royal insiders whispered that Prince William had made the call. He personally invited Beatrice to step in. Privately, he argued that the monarchy was too thin. Too few working royals. Too many engagements. And Beatrice? She had the pedigree, the grace, and the loyalty. Why not her? But when Queen Camilla saw the photos, her reaction was immediate and furious. Camilla didn't just question the move, she called it a betrayal. Queen Camilla wasted no time. The very next morning, she summoned her most trusted aides for a closed-door meeting at Clarence's house. Her voice, usually calm and measured, was sharp with frustration. "Who authorized this?" she asked. But she already knew the answer: Prince William. And that's what rattled her most. Camilla had spent years shaping the royal landscape behind the scenes, elevating her allies, sidelining those she didn't trust. She saw Beatrice as a liability. Not because of her character but because of her father. Prince Andrew's scandals had tainted the York name. In Camilla's view, Beatrice stepping forward risked reopening old wounds. But William saw something else entirely. "She's not her father," he told Charles privately. "She's loyal, discreet. The people like her." Charles hesitated. He respected Beatrice, but he also respected Camilla's instincts. Still, William's words echoed with conviction. Behind closed doors, father and son agreed. Beatrice would be invited to take on a limited role, testing public response. That's when Camilla struck. She made a royal power play no one saw coming, one that would divide the palace in two. Queen Camilla made her move at the worst possible time, just days before Beatrice's next scheduled appearance. A children's hospital charity event had been planned, with Beatrice set to represent the royal family. But suddenly the palace released a surprise statement. Due to scheduling changes, Her Majesty Queen Camilla will now attend the event in place of Princess Beatrice. No explanation. No warning. Beatrice was blindsided. William was livid. Behind the scenes, royal staffers scrambled to control the narrative. But the damage was already done. To the public it looked like Beatrice had been demoted, or worse, rejected. Inside the palace, whispers of sabotage swirled. Charles confronted Camilla that evening. "She was ready," he said. "You made her look expendable." Camilla didn't flinch. "She's not a working royal," she replied. "We can't blur the lines." But William wasn't willing to let it go. "She's done nothing wrong," he snapped. "And if we start gatekeeping the family, we'll be left with no one." For the first time, Camilla realized William wasn't just making a suggestion. He was drawing a line in the sand. And then William did something bold. He publicly backed Beatrice in front of the entire royal press corps. Prince William didn't wait for permission. At a press briefing meant to highlight youth leadership in the UK, he went off script. A reporter asked a routine question about the monarchy's future, and William seized the moment. "We've reached a point," he said, "where commitment and character must matter more than old labels. Princess Beatrice has shown both. And she will continue to represent this family, with my full support." The room went silent. Reporters blinked in disbelief. That was no small statement. It was a direct challenge to the Queen Consort's authority. Within minutes, headlines lit up. William endorses Beatrice as new royal voice. Camilla overruled? Charles, watching from Windsor, was stunned. Not angry but cautious. Privately he summoned his advisers. One of them told him plainly, this could either split the monarchy or save it. Then came a letter. From one of the late Queen Elizabeth's closest confidants. It praised Beatrice's grace, her poise, her quiet strength. It urged King Charles to honor the bloodline, not the baggage. And with that, the tide began to turn. But Camilla wasn't finished. If William wanted Beatrice in, she was about to show just how far she'd go to push her out. Queen Camilla acted swiftly and ruthlessly. Within 48 hours, several long-standing patronages that were rumored to be offered to Beatrice were reassigned to Camilla's trusted allies. The palace's social calendar was quietly updated. Beatrice's name vanished from multiple upcoming events. And royal insiders began leaking whispers of unofficial roles being overstepped. It was war. And the battlefield was optics. Beatrice, caught in the middle, stayed silent. She didn't issue statements. Didn't give interviews. But behind palace doors she confided in William. I don't want a title, I want to serve. If that's not welcome, I'll step back. That broke William. Because he knew the public wanted more royals like her. Modern, relatable, untarnished. But Camilla wasn't budging. Even Charles felt the squeeze. Between his wife and his son, he was forced into the role he hated most, mediator. Royal staff warned him that internal division could spill into public scandal. Poll numbers were already showing signs of decline, especially among younger generations. That's when something happened that no one expected. An internal memo was leaked. It exposed Camilla's efforts to block Beatrice's rise, citing reputational risk due to her family history. Public reaction was swift and brutal. Social media turned on Camilla. Editorials questioned her judgment. Even staunch royalists began asking, if Beatrice isn't fit to serve, then who is? And just when it seemed the storm couldn't get any worse, Beatrice received an invitation that would change everything. The invitation came from an unexpected place, the United Nations. Beatrice, known for her work in dyslexia advocacy and tech innovation, was asked to speak on youth empowerment and education. But here's the twist. She was invited not just as a philanthropist, but as Her Royal Highness, Princess Beatrice of York, representing the British royal family. Someone had officially used the royal title. Someone with authority. And that someone was King Charles. Camilla was blindsided. The king had quietly approved the UN engagement, going over his wife's head, for the first time since becoming monarch. Why? Because the backlash had reached a boiling point. Public opinion had turned. Royal credibility was in question. And Charles knew, unity had to be restored, and fast. So, in a stunning reversal, Buckingham Palace released a statement. Princess Beatrice will undertake select engagements at His Majesty's discretion. Her recent contributions to British interests abroad have reflected the values we hold dear. That was it. No apology. No drama. Just a subtle but powerful shift. Camilla's influence took a hit. William had won this round. And Beatrice? She had done the impossible, risen above royal politics without even trying to play them. But the true shocker came days later, when Beatrice appeared at Windsor, not alone, but with someone whose presence sent a message to the entire monarchy. When Beatrice stepped out of the black car at Windsor, the crowd gasped, not because of her outfit but because of who stepped out behind her. Sarah Ferguson. Her mother. The Duchess of York hadn't been seen at a royal engagement in years, not officially. She had long been considered persona non grata after her scandals in the 90s. But here she was, walking beside her daughter, smiling, standing tall. Royal watchers were stunned. This wasn't just a family moment, it was a statement. Beatrice was reclaiming her space. Not through rebellion. Not through gossip. But by embracing her roots, without shame. And behind a window upstairs, Queen Camilla watched it all. Charles noticed. He said nothing, but he saw everything. The people had chosen their side. And the monarchy had a choice to make: remain locked in old grudges, or evolve. In the weeks that followed, Beatrice's schedule quietly grew. She began attending youth summits, hosting charity dinners, and even advising the palace on digital innovation. She never demanded the spotlight, but earned it. Queen Camilla, though bruised, recalibrated. Her influence was still immense, but no longer unchecked. She began focusing more on her own causes, stepping back from inter-family disputes. Prince William emerged stronger too, proving he wasn't just next in line. He was already leading. And King Charles? He learned the value of balancing loyalty, legacy, and letting the next generation breathe. Princess Beatrice didn't just survive the royal storm. She became its quiet center. And in doing so she reminded the world, and the crown, that grace doesn't shout. It endures.